The first discovery was made in the spring of 1990. From a mine in South America came a piece of amber containing the fossilized remains of a prehistoric mosquito, one of many that had fed upon the blood of dinosaurs.
Hey everyone, it's Jonathan. Welcome back to our Jurassic Park series on every version ever. Like I said in the first episode, something I've wanted to do for quite a while now is talk about more books. Usually when I cover something really famous, like specifically a really famous adaptation of a really famous book, the book will come up as kind of a talking point for at least a section of the podcast, but I rarely take a full episode to go over any book, adaptation or otherwise, let alone make it a point to read it alongside all the movies we usually cover. And I can't promise I will always do that from now on, but with today's episode I am planning to at least take the first step in that direction, as we are talking about the 1990 Michael Crichton novel that one of the most famous blockbuster films of all time is based on, Jurassic Park. With something like Jurassic Park, there is literally only one adaptation of this book, so on its surface, this isn't an obvious choice to base a whole podcast series on. But since I've wanted to get into more books for a while, this felt like a perfect starting point, not just because Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time, but also because the novel that Jurassic Park is based on is so different to the movie, it only made sense to give it its own episode so we could fully dive into everything that makes it different from the movie. Joining me for this episode and all the other episodes in this series is my friend Sam. While I didn't see or read Jurassic Park until I was a teenager, Sam grew up with them, and we were both eager to revisit this book for the first time in ages. So, obviously, the book is way different than the movie.
Way different. Like, the book is straight up a horror book, and the movie is, like, for kids and adults.
It becomes apparent immediately in the book, because the whole opening
is a nightmare.
Is way different.
Honestly, the opening for me is like what got me. I'm just like, holy crap, this is, like I said, I read this when I was probably 10. So for me, I was like, oh, this is like an adult book. They just ate that baby.
Yeah. I don't think I could have handled this when I was 10. I probably read this when I was 15 or 16. Mm-hmm. It would have been soon after I'd watched the movie for the first time.
Right.
But it had probably been since then, since I had actually read the book. So it was like going into it fresh this time, because there were certain things that I remembered, but most of it was brand new. Yeah,
like I showed you my copy of the book and it's like falling to pieces. So I've obviously read this a lot, but rereading it just recently, there was a lot I didn't remember. Like, I remembered the baby part, but I didn't remember the whole opening with the worker. Mm-hmm. And they bring the worker to the hospital, and he's, like, screaming, and his wounds are foaming, and they're like, he got ran over by construction equipment. And they're like,
dumbest lie.
Something tried to eat him. That's not a print from a construction equipment. Like, if he didn't get run over by a cat or a dump truck, like, something tried to eat this guy. Mm-hmm. And now he's foaming and screaming and yelling about raptors. And they're like, the bird?
In the book, too, the dinosaurs that are attacking people off the island, including the baby, they're identified as Procompsognathus.
Compies.
Yes. In the movie, I thought they were called Compsognathus. And I looked it up. Those are two different dinosaurs. They look very similar, but they're two different dinosaurs. So I don't know. This is just me being really nerdy with the details. I don't know if they changed that for the movie or not, because raptors obviously are changed for the movie.
Yeah, I bet they probably had something very specific in mind, and they're like, well, or maybe one was easier to pronounce. But yeah, they could have just changed it just because maybe they wanted a different dinosaur, or...
I was wondering if they changed it because Compsognathus is a lot easier to pronounce than Procompsognathus.
Yeah, I mean,
But also they call them compies anyway.
They shorten it to compies anyway. But, you know, the compies don't come in until the second movie. Mm-hmm. So by the time the second movie rolled around, maybe they were like, or maybe since they don't show up till the second movie, maybe they just decide to go with a different dinosaur. Because there's a lot of dinosaurs in the second movie that aren't, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Nobody knows but them, and they might not even know.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I liked about all of this stuff at the beginning was that it sets up that, like, yes, the ultimate failure of the island is Dennis Nedry, but it was going south without his involvement.
Yeah,
he just hastened what was already in motion.
Yeah, it was all going to hell, even if he wouldn't have done what he was going to do. It was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the dinosaurs had already escaped the island. They were finding them dead on beaches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can tell reading this that Michael Crichton, before he wrote Jurassic Park, the majority of his books are very sci-fi horror thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't read too many of his other books, but I did read Congo. It's one of my favorite books. But
that was one I keep seeing, and I was wondering to myself, should I do this one or not?
I like Congo. It's different. It's kind of cheesy, but...
Isn't that's the one with the talking gorilla, right?
Amy, yeah. She does like the sign language, and then I can't remember. It's been so long. Somebody stole my copy of the book, so I haven't read it in a very long time, but it's highlighted here. But... you know, his books are it's written very horror because a lot of the dialogue, it's not quite the reactions you would normally get in a conversation.
Okay.
Like when people first see dinosaurs, they're not like, wow. They're like, huh. I'm like, oh, it's not quite the reaction I expected.
Mm-hmm. I think the most obvious big change that people know between the book and the movie is... the characters are different, but most specifically is John Hammond.
Oh, yeah.
He's straight up evil.
Yes, he is.
He's, at the beginning, he comes off probably more, like, selfish and full of himself.
Yeah, kind of like eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just like... but he is not the loving, caring, spare no expense, we want to do this for kids grandpa that he is in the books. He doesn't even like his own grandkids.
Yeah, that, I think, surprised me the most, because I had not remembered that.
I mean,
thought
to be
maybe
fair,
he would at least like his own.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't like Lex in the book either, so...
That is true.
I'm all for it.
I was so sick of her by the end.
Oh my god, I'm just like...
I was sick of her in her first scene.
Oh my god, I'm just like, I know you live, but please... just look, one little snap from that T-Rex. Just one little chomp, and she's gone. She's gone from this book. Come on.
She got on my nerves.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because Michael Crichton wrote her to be annoying, or if maybe he just didn't have a lot of experience writing little kids.
That was the impression that I got, because...
or maybe all the kids in his life are super annoying, and he's like, I'm going to base this character off my niece. I don't know.
When I was reading it, I really wondered if he hated kids, because...
I mean, like, because Tim is fine. He's older. He's a little bit more mature, but his little sister.
The way she talked, it was to the point where I don't believe her character was based on any real child.
No, that's why I said, I was like, does he not have experience with little kids, maybe? Because, thank God, Steven Spielberg redid those characters so much and made them...
a million times better.
A million times better. I mean, yeah, he swapped the ages and made Tim kind of like the little fanboy. But he wasn't annoying. He was how we would all act if we met our hero.
Yeah. And Tim, like, the way he talked in the movie, it was different than, like, a lot of kids his age, but it still felt real.
Well, he's a little nerd.
He still felt like, a nerdy little kid.
He was a little nerd. He would have been like me if I would have met, like, any paleontologist when I was a little kid. I would have been like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Like... want to talk about dinosaurs forever? You know, he actually felt... but then Steven Spielberg is renowned for knowing how to cast and direct little kids.
That is true.
It's kind of one of his things.
That is very true.
Because he knew if he would have made Lex like she was in the book, ain't nobody going to be cheering for that little kid. Mm-hmm. Which sounds mean, but it's true.
They also had a subplot that was dropped for the movie where their parents are getting a divorce, and I didn't know if that was informing some of the ways the characters were behaving.
It could have been. I think it's funny they took that plot and applied it to Jurassic World.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. There's so many things, like little things, that they take from the books and put into future movies.
I picked up on quite a few of them when I was rereading this, and that was the first one that hit me. I was like, oh, so they took this and applied it to Jurassic World.
It's been so long since I've watched Jurassic World. I'll have to rewatch and see what I notice now that I've read the book.
I'm not rewatching any of those.
No, that's fine. They're not planned for part of this series, but I might come back to them with someone else in the future who likes watching.
Who will do a review on them without getting mad for 3 hours. Probably good for you.
Yeah. I don't hate the first one.
I don't hate it either, but I just don't like it.
I've gotten to the point where I like watching quote unquote bad movies for entertainment. So I think that the others have that for me now.
I'll rewatch Jurassic World if I can fast forward a lot of it. Or mute it. Go vacuum. Come back.
After Jurassic World, there's so many plot points that are just like, really?
Like, what are we
Why?
doing? Well, they even make a point, they talk about, like, in the book, I'm pretty sure they talk about how zoos are so popular and people never get tired of them.
That's the most baffling plot point that they are doubling down on. Like, I thought maybe they would drop that for the most recent Jurassic World movie. No, they're doubling down on it. Like, that is the dumbest plot point. It makes zero sense.
Like, have you not been to a zoo?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody gets excited.
Yeah.
Unless you hate animals.
Yeah.
Everybody like, wow, a giraffe. I've come to this zoo every year for 40 years, but yay, look, there's a giraffe. Like, everybody gets... You see cows in the field, people get excited. I see a horse, and I'm happy.
Yeah. It's baffling to me that whoever is writing these really thinks that people are going to get sick of dinosaurs after 10, 20 years or however long the park was open.
But they're going to treat them like a nuisance. It's not a white-tailed deer in the road. Like, it's a brachiosaurus or brontosaurus, whatever they have in that new movie that I saw a clip from.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry. I don't care how jaded and bitter people are. You put a dinosaur in the road, they're going to be like, wow.
Yeah.
They're going to treat it like a buffalo, and they're going to try to pet it.
It's baffling to me that they think that's a good plot point.
Yeah. It's like, just drop it and everybody happy.
Other than them, the main trio of the movie seems to be mostly the same as the book. There are some slight differences. Ellie seems to be a bit more sidelined in the book.
Big time sideline. Like, she's hardly even a character until the end.
There were parts where in the book I was thinking, okay, so they've taken this thing and given it to Ellie to do, which I preferred, because I didn't love all of the characters in the book. Like, there were kind of a lot of characters in the book.
There's a lot of characters. Like, Gennaro, like,
yeah,
he
does not die.
And I actually really liked him as a character
in the book. He's much better in the book.
Yeah, he's not like a snivelly little weasel. Like, he's an actual pretty stand-up guy once they get into it.
There was a different character that I think they've kind of merged with Gennaro, Ed Regis.
Yep.
So I think all of the bad qualities in the movie Gennaro came from Ed Regis.
Yep. Yeah, because in the book, Gennaro is kind of, like I said, he's more of a stand-up guy. He isn't the best guy, but
he's still in it for the money. He's
still in it for the money, but, when it comes down to it at the end, he doesn't abandon everybody. Like, he's still there to help. He doesn't go run on a toilet and
I think he kind of wanted to abandon them.
I think he
when
wanted
they're making
to.
the baffling choice to go explore Velociraptor hole.
That is one thing when I reread this book, I was like, I have no memory of any of this, and I think I know why.
I have that whole scene, I was like, what are they doing?
What is happening right now?
I was on Gennaro's side.
Well, and Ian Malcolm, like, he's annoying in the movie, but in the book, especially once he gets hopped up on morphine. Oh my God. I was just like paragraph after paragraph of chaos theory, and I'm like, bro, I don't care anymore.
Everything that he was talking about, I was like,
I
feel like Michael Crichton just read something about chaos theory and was like, I love this. I want to stick this anywhere I can in this book.
I'm going to make this guy high as hell, and he is going to ramble. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, Ian.
It's not the same thing, but it reminded me of, like, trying to read Lord of the Rings, and there's, like, pages of elven poetry.
Yeah, the songs, the Ents. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, but even I was like, oh, my God, I get it. Or, like, the way he would describe a hill. I'm like, I understand. I can see it. But it's a hill. We're done now. This isn't even an important hill. This isn't Weathertop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point, I would like to do podcasts on Lord of the Rings, but there's no, like, the first time I read them, I could not get through the books. I had to go to audiobooks. There's no way that I'm gonna have to do audiobooks again, because, like, it was hard enough for me to get through this book And I liked reading it. Like, once I got in, like, I spent a long time reading, but then I have other stuff to do and getting back to it. I'm glad you suggested an audiobook for this, because that just, I sped right through it.
Well, yeah, I was like, you're doing other stuff anyway that you
Yeah.
are halfway paying attention to. You might as well just listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, that worked perfectly. So I'm probably going to be doing that more often now.
You'll have to let me know how it goes, because I've been thinking about getting into audiobooks, but I just haven't gotten into it.
It was very convenient. And then I signed up for like a month of Audible to get the first book. And then, cause I had signed up years ago, I was on Audible for something else. And apparently I had forgotten that I had a credit.
Oh.
So I had 2 credits when I signed up for the month. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to get both books because we're going to be doing Lost World later on. So
Yeah.
I have both. But then when I went to cancel the membership, they gave me a bunch of like special offers.
Don't leave.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
leave us.
And one of them was like a year for like $80.
Oh.
And I was like, I did the math and I was like, okay, that's like a really good deal. So I did it. So I've got 12 more credits that I'm going to use on other things for the podcast.
Yeah. The other big difference I noticed immediately when I read the book was that Alan Grant is absolutely supposed to be Robert T. Baker. He's got the beard. He wears the flannels. Like, he looks very different in the book than
Is that
he does.
the person that they were talking about, the author? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. He's the guy who wrote Raptor Red.
Oh, I read that book about the same time I read Jurassic Park.
I own that book. It's on the shelf next to the Jurassic Park books, and I honestly don't remember if I even finished it. Because I was really, really into it, and then, like, almost to the end, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm into this anymore.
I don't remember it at all, but I remember checking it out from the library after I read these. Like, it was, like, near them on the shelf somewhere, and I saw it, and I was like, what is this?
I just remember I bought it, like, the second it came out as a kid, because Robert T. Baker, I was like, I love this guy. He does all the dinosaur stuff.
He actually looks more like the guy in the second movie.
I think that is supposed to be, like, a spoof of him in the second movie. Because this is what he looked like when he was young. I mean, that's the guy from the second movie. But I think that's who Alan Grant was supposed to be based off of. Just because the second he mentioned the beard and all that stuff, I'm like, hey, I know that guy. I can never remember his name, which is why I had to Google it just now. But, like, he was just like, he was the guy when I was a kid.
That makes sense.
But, and also the fact that in the book, Alan Grant doesn't hate kids. He's fine with kids because he deals with them all the time. He says in the book, he loves kids because they love dinosaurs.
That's true. Yeah, that is another big difference.
Yep. He's like, kids, they love dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. They're the future. So he's like, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a lot of scenes where he, not that he knew what to do to help the kids, but like he quickly was able to figure out how to calm them or move them on. Get them
how to
going.
kind of talk to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially Tim, because Tim liked dinosaurs too. Mm-hmm. So I think Lex is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the characters, there's a lot more side characters. Most of them are people that we know. Their roles are just so much bigger in the book than they were in the movie. Robert Muldoon, Mr. Arnold, Henry Wu, and Gennaro, all much bigger characters in the book. And like I said, a lot of what they do was given to Ellie, which is why their characters are smaller in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also like Muldoon, he is not quite the same game warden in the...
No.
He's a bit of a drunken...
I kind of wondered, it seems like they sort of swapped characteristics of Muldoon and Mr. Arnold. Like, they never specify, but Muldoon, I think, was from Kenya in the book, and I don't think they specified Mr. Arnold.
I don't think so. In my head, he's still Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. Even though...
I was like, they haven't described... I don't think they described his physical features, but in my head, I'm like, it don't matter. They could have said he's the whitest Irish man on the planet and be like, no, that's Samuel L. Jackson right there.
For everybody, I was seeing the characters in the movie.
Yeah.
And
Henry...
Even with Regis, I was seeing Gennaro.
Oh, yeah. I did too at first until it kind of got on a little bit more, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I can picture him a little different. And like Dennis Nedry, basically the kind of the same, just not quite. He's not as smart in the book, I feel, as he was in the movie. Like, or not smart, but he's not as conniving. Because like in the the book, he wasn't going to just leave. Like, he was like, I'm going to go give the specimens to Dodgson, and I'm coming back, and I'll put everything back up the way it was.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because, like, I was surprised when I was rereading it, because he's like, I got to get the samples to the guy, and then I'll come right back, because he wanted to keep his job, even though he wasn't getting paid enough, which is the whole point of the book, is that they underpaid. And they address it in the movie, too.
Yeah.
But he was going to bring the specimens, drop them off with him at the dock, and then come right back. But because he was kind of full of himself, he didn't. I love that the whole reason he gets killed is because he flat out admits he did not go on the dinosaur tour. He sees the Dilophosaurus, and in that moment, he's just like, he didn't do the dinosaur tour like everybody else. He had no idea what that dinosaur was. He didn't know what any of them were. And if he would have gone on the dinosaur tour and been like, oh crap, that's that one that spits that we keep having issues with because it keeps spitting through the fences, he would have flipped, because he would have been like, all right, keep your back to it, and just get back in the car and close the door. But he doesn't know what it is because he didn't go on the dinosaur tour. Reading the book again, I'm like, you fool. And then we get like the most gruesome death of the whole book.
Yeah, basically. Described in every
I'm pretty sure
detail.
I had a bookmark in that spot too, which shows what kind of child I was. There was a little piece of neon paper, and I'm like, what's this lead to? Oh! Yeah. All right then. Okay then.
I think child you would have worried child me.
Probably. You would have been like, she's weird. I don't think we should talk anymore.
And besides Ed Regis, there was another character who I guess he was in the movie, but I don't think he was ever named. Dr. Harding, the veterinarian.
They say his name because they address him a couple times, but he's not a main character. I mean, he's there for the T-Rex, and then he takes the ship to go back to the mainland in the movie. The T-Rex. The Triceratops.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they say Dr. Harding. I think they say it a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's not a main character. Like, he's not there through the whole thing. But in the book, they're not evacuating the island either.
That is true, because there was a couple points where they mentioned other workers, and I was like, wait, why are there other workers?
Yeah, there's like, because the kill count gets pretty high toward the end, and it never really made sense in the movie why they're evacuating the island for the hurricane. Like, it's done, right? Like, you should be able to withstand the hurricane there. I don't know if it was like a holiday and they're all going home.
I never really thought about it. It made sense to me because, like, there's a hurricane coming. We got to get off the island. I did not give it a second thought. I was like, yeah, of course, that's what you got to do when there's a hurricane.
Yeah, like, you got hotels and stuff there, right?
We live in Iowa. I've never been in a hurricane.
No.
I just, if something happens, I'm like, okay, I guess that's what you got to do.
I know. I think that was my thought as a kid, too. Like, oh, yeah, that's coming. You want to avoid that. And then I'm like, wait, people are supposed to stay here, though, for, like, extended vacations. Can't you just bunker in the hotel?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, you got food and stuff there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the book, there's no evacuation. The workers are there, the employees are there. Everybody's still there.
Which makes sense. I just had never thought about it before.
Well, and I don't think there's a hurricane either. I think it's just a storm. Because it's Costa Rica. It probably rains and storms every other day, like Florida.
I think in my head it was a hurricane, but that's only because I've seen the movie so many times. They
Yeah.
probably never even said it. I just assumed it was a hurricane.
I mean, I could be wrong, too, but it's not like they're like, Hurricane Helene is coming.
Well, with Dr. Harding, and I haven't read the second book yet, but is it supposed to be that he is related to Sarah Harding?
I don't think so. When I read the second book, I didn't get that. I think I've read online some people have kind of connected it, but it didn't make a lot of sense to me because she doesn't know anything about anything. You'd think her dad would tell her, just non-disclosure paperwork or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't read the second book yet, so what I was reading online, I saw one mention of somebody saying there was like a throwaway line maybe connecting them, but I never read anything that said for sure that they were connected.
I mean, I just reread it, but I don't remember anything connecting them.
Okay.
I mean, I could have skipped over it, but I don't think there was. I think he dies anyway, doesn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Yeah. I would think she'd be like, yeah, my dad died on this island. When we got his body, it was all chewed up.
Actually, speaking of people dying, I thought Ian Malcolm died.
Well, he kind of did.
Well, at the beginning, when he first gets bitten by the T-Rex, I thought he died. The way they framed it, it was like, well, he just died. That's weird. And then he turns up alive later, but then maybe dies by the end, but he's in the second book. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah, because at the end of this book, they flat out say he didn't make it. He died. Mm-hmm. And I know you haven't reread the second book yet. Do you want me to tell you?
That's fine.
It just literally opens up with, I was pronounced dead, but I literally, like, got better. Like, he totally just retconned everything. Like, it's like in, like, the first, like, part of the book.
So it's like Star Wars canon. Like, if they need something to be different, they'll just explain it away.
Yeah, they just kind of wave it off. Like, I can't even remember how they phrase it, but that's just, like, literally how it goes. Like, yeah, they pronounced me dead, but I got better. It's like a MASH episode, honestly. I've seen so many MASH episodes who do that. Here it is. Malcolm had, in fact, been reported dead in several newscasts. I was sorry to cut short the celebrations in mathematics department around the country, he later said, but it turned out I was only slightly dead.
Okay.
The surgeons had done wonders, as they will be the first to tell you. Now I am back.
That's fine. That probably would have really bugged me when I was younger, because anything that contradicted anything...
Oh, it bugged me when I reread it. I immediately was like, because I finished this book, finished reading Jurassic Park, and they're like, oh, Malcolm didn't make it, he died. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. And then I'm like, wait a minute. wait, so how did he come back? And then I started rereading The Lost World, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Did you just retcon?
Apparently.
That's when, like I said, that's when the whole MASH thing came into my head. It was like, I was only dead for a minute, then I came back, so. Because in the book, he is just like, they're like, we need to get him out of here. He's going to die. Like, we've pumped him so full of morphine, and he's prattling on about everything. He won't shut up. And he's sweaty and infected and gross, and he's going to die. And then by the end, they're like, oh, by the way, he did die. And I'm like, well, then you should just let him die sooner. I don't know. You did your best, I guess.
Yeah, that would have really bugged me when I was younger, but I think I've been watching things like Star Wars and Doctor Who for so long that the canon just keeps changing and contradicting itself, and I'm like, I can't be bothered to care anymore.
Or Marvel too. Yeah, it's just like, bitch, you died.
The longer something goes on, the more the more the canon starts to like eat itself, and I'm just like, I like this. I cannot stress about how much this does not make sense. I need to just enjoy it and stop overthinking.
It's like, I guess I'll just deal with it. But yeah, Ian he's definitely, like in the movie, he is very much like chaos theory. This isn't going to work. I'm right about everything. And in the book, he is also right
just
about everything. It just
cranked up to 11.
Yeah, he just, instead of being like, and he is a little funny and quirky in the book yet. But he's more like 4 paragraphs discussing this one thing, and you're like, yeah, I get it. I can see why John Hammond in the movie was like, I hate that man.
I was
like, I get it.
After I got into the book, I'm like, I remembered that scene, and I'm like, I think he was talking about Ian Malcolm, because every time we get to that scene, I'm like, who is he talking about? Is he talking about Nedry, or is he talking about Malcolm?
Malcolm.
And so after reading the book, I'm like, even though it's not exactly the same, I could see John Hammond hating the book Malcolm.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, book John Hammond didn't like anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Except maybe Henry Wu, and even they got into it quite a bit, discussing the ethics of the situation, because they make Henry Wu into the, like, kind of the new villain, like, I can do this and I can do that. And he's kind of like that in the book, but by the end, he's like, no, I think we f***ed up. I think maybe we did something wrong here.
Yeah. I was kind of expecting him to, like, it had been so long since I read the book, so I didn't remember that he died, but I was kind of expecting him to get kind of more megalomaniacal by the end, because I knew that he becomes the main villain for the World movies, or even the series, I believe, the animated series.
Yeah, no, he gets gutted like a fish.
Yeah.
That raptor just pops down from the roof and bye-bye, Henry. You're dead now, too.
like almost everyone.
I mean, there's a lot more survivors. I mean, to be fair, in the movie, there's really not that many deaths. I mean, Nedry dies, and Muldoon dies, who lives in the book, doesn't he? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Because the raptors almost get him, but he gets away somehow.
Yeah,
because
there was more people that were rescued at the end than I was expecting.
Yeah, so that's like still a death count, but... But I will say the book, though, kind of cracks me up because it starts off with the deaths. You know, it ramps you up immediately. You're like, you're in a horror story. And then it slows down. And then that build up, like, it is such a slow build to get to them entering Jurassic Park.
That is true, yeah.
It is very slow. It's not boring. I mean, I can see people saying it's boring. But it's just the anticipation. Because the whole time they're laying down things that are like, it is not going to be good. This isn't going to work out. But we're going to go into this park anyway. And, like, literally when the hits the fan, it doesn't stop. Like, once everything goes down in the book, it just immediately, everything just goes to hell. And I think it's funny how much faster in the book they find the dinosaur eggs. Because in the book, it's a 6 Stegosaurus, not a Triceratops. And Alan, like, just goes for a walk. And he's like, hey, I found dinosaur eggs.
There was a lot more about that particular subplot in the book than there was in the movie.
A lot more.
Also, the dinosaurs getting off the island was a whole subplot that I was not expecting. Like, they've got to warn people that there are dinosaurs who figured out they can board ships and leave.
Yeah, and there's a lot more dinosaur species in the book.
Yes.
Including ones that they flat out say, well, we have problems keeping these in the fences. But they're, like, herbivores, so they're like, well, they keep getting out, but whatever, that's okay. And there's also 2 T-Rexes. Not just one.
One is a juvenile.
Yep. And I like that they reason the female T-Rex, they're like, well, she's shy. We think it's because she gets sunburned. Because I love that in the book, the dinosaurs aren't perfect. Like, they're genetically engineered monsters, and they have issues. They have genetic defects. They have problems, which would make sense. Like, you're not going to create this perfect specimen.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have issues. You know, some get allergies real easy. They thought the big T-Rex got sunburned real easy. They all had just, like, issues, and some just died from genetic problems. I'm like, well, this is all great, because this is how it would be if you're creating something. It's not going to be, like, perfect. And, like, the raptors are nuts. Like, they are not... Like, in the book, or in the movie, they're, like, pack hunters, and they're smart, and they work together. No, in the book, they are not, like, a group. It is, like... Who's ever in charge is in charge, but they will just kill everybody else around them if they have to.
Including their own kind.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, including their own kind. Like, it's not like a pack system where the female... You know, they say in the book she came in and killed all the others but, like, 2 or something. But in the book, there's really no pecking order. It's like, if I don't like you, I'll just kill you. Kind of remind me of chickens. Because chickens kill their own all the time. Because chickens are mean.
Okay. I've never had chickens, so...
I know people who have chickens, and yeah, chickens are very vicious. And they kind of reminded me of chickens. Like, once one gets hurt, well, we'll eat you.
Okay.
Yeah, Scary.
I don't think I want chickens.
Well, yeah, they were once a T-Rex, so... But, yeah, I did enjoy that whole plot hole, but, like, all this stuff in the book, like, with the genetics and, like, the codes, I was just like, blah, 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 blah.
What is that?
That's when they're doing all, like, the DNA error stuff. There's just so many pages. And I guess since you listened to the audiobook...
Yeah, I was going to say,
you didn't see all this.
That was not something that they did in the audiobook version.
Yeah, this is like the DNA...
full of number strands.
Yeah, there's so many pages of, like, the DNA structure and stuff like that. And then they have, like, when they start figuring out the dinosaurs are breeding... They've got tables in the book that show, like, how many dinosaurs there should be.
Interesting.
And then how many, when they finally do the proper scan, how many they actually find.
Yeah, that kind of thing doesn't really translate well to somebody reading the book.
No, because, like, the whole table where they're like, well, search for this many dinosaurs. And then it shows, like, the numbers. Like, that was, like, the big mic drop in the book is all of a sudden they're like, well, we should have, like, 4 of these, but there's 40 of them. And you're like, oh,
I wonder if they slightly reworded the dialogue, because I remember the scene you're talking about, but there was nothing like with a table.
Yeah.
They were just telling what they were seeing on the map.
Now pause your audiobook, open your book to page 347, and look at this table, and then hit play. And of course, the book also kind of doesn't have the whole, scene like in the movie where they come and they see the Brachiosaurus, and it's just all like the most, it's like one of the best scenes in movie history when they see the Brachiosaurus. You're just like, wow. And in the book, it's like, I think it's apatosauruses, or I think do they call them brontosauruses or apatosauruses? But they're just like, their heads come up and they're like, huh, look at that.
It wasn't quite the same in the book.
No, it wasn't. The book is not so much wow, awe, and wonder. It's more like, oh God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, oh no.
I think if that happened in real life, I would be somewhere in the middle.
I'd be like really excited, and then I'd be like, oh
then
wait.
the reality would hit.
Wait. Did you just do herbivores, or are there predators here?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we've got like a whole paddock of raptors over there. I'd be like, oh no, time to go home. Just let me pet this dinosaur over here real quick that won't eat me, and I'm gonna go home now. But yeah, see, there it's a list of all the dinosaurs that are in the book. So there's quite a few more.
Yeah, there was nothing like that in the audiobook. Interesting. Yeah. I noticed that there was a lot of passages and lines of dialogue taken directly from the book, but like changed in some way. Mm-hmm. Like changing who said that Dr. Malcolm suffered from a deplorable excess of personality. In the book, I think it's like the narrator saying something. It's something that other mathematicians say about him, but in the movie, it's John Hammond.
Yeah.
I think that whoever did the screenplay just read that line and was like, I like that line. We need to use it.
I just love that in the book. It's Michael Crichton saying, okay, so this guy that I wrote.
It is such a good line, though.
It is. But they don't. The one line that is missing, though, is when Ellie's famous line of, man creates dinosaurs, dinosaurs eat man, and women inherits the earth. I'm like, that's such a great line. But again, in the book, until the end, she's just kind of there.
Yeah.
They kind of focus on her looks a little bit. Like, everybody thinks she's hot because she's got her midriff exposed. Oh, hussy.
Oh, that's right. There was a lot of people who were, like, into her.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she's got nice legs. She's wearing shorts. And Alan's just like, she's engaged to a doctor.
Yeah, they were not even implied at all to be a couple.
Nope. I think at one point there was some mention that maybe at one point there may have been mutual interest, but I don't think either of them acted on it. Which I'm totally fine with. Like, even in the movie, I didn't really get that from them. I felt like at the end when they're like kind of making eye contact, I'm like, is this like actual feelings, or is this a, hey, we almost died?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, they don't even end up together.
No.
She marries somebody else.
Yeah.
Although I think they changed that in like one of the recent Jurassic World
I think she
movies.
gets divorced.
Okay.
Because in the third movie, Jurassic Park 3, she's married and has kids.
Yeah.
Because when Alan goes to visit her, he's just as awkward with the kids as he was originally, which I'm just like, I hate it when they back characters up. Like, no, Alan made progress. He works around kids. He works with dinosaurs. He's not going to be awkward.
That reminds me of another thing that it was in the book that I was surprised about, from the movie, the scene where he like terrorizes a child. Like, that was in the book, but he wasn't terrorizing a child. He was just kind of like talking matter-of-factly to somebody.
Well, he was teaching his students because he has students on site, so he's just teaching them stuff.
So were the students kids, or were they like young adults?
I think they were like probably college graduates, or like maybe college credit kind of kids, maybe volunteers for the summer.
Okay, so it wasn't like a child.
No, I don't think they were like 12 years old.
Okay.
I think they were, to him, they were kids.
I think the book might have said kids once, and I just assumed they were little kids, and I didn't really understand why they were there, but I figured there was like a field trip or something. I don't know.
Oh, I found the page. Okay, so here is when they've got what they expect to find, and then they keep running the reports, and it's upping the amount of dinosaurs on the island. Okay.
Yeah, there was a similar scene in the audiobook, but obviously they had to add some clarifying dialogue because there was nothing about a table and report.
Yeah.
Like specific reports.
Yeah, because see, like right here, like Hammond's like, wait a minute, Hammond said, these animals can't breed. The computer must be counting field mice. and Mr. Arnold, who has a lot more to do in the book. Like, he's not just the computer guy, he's everything. He's like, I thought so too. It's almost certainly an error in the visual tracking, but we'll know soon enough. Hammond turned to Wu. They can't breed, can they? And he says no. And then the number keeps going up, and they're like, where are they coming from? Damned if I know. And the numbers just keep going up. And Gennaro's like, holy how many more are there? And then Lex starts whining. And they end up with, okay, so here's the final table. They end up with like 292 dinosaurs when they were only expecting 238.
Yeah, I remember that scene, but I think they just added a line like the table increased or the number increased or something. Yeah,
because here you've got all the charts and everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there was no charts.
Yeah, no charts. But yeah, so anyway. The book also has more like of the park that's like either done or not done. Like the book has the aviary, which has a very similar scene to both Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, because they go into the aviary. I just laugh because when I was reading this book, I'm like, are they pooping on them? Because they talk about white stuff falling from the sky, and I'm like, I think
that was the implication.
I think they're pooping on them to get them out of there. And yeah, they kind of try to eat them, but it's not nearly as aggressive as in
Jurassic
the movies.
Park 3.
Yeah. Because my argument was
Jurassic
always
World
like, they eat fish and probably dead things like a lot of, seabirds do. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think they're going to try to eat you. They try to eat Lex, which I'm like, yay! Get her!
She's small enough to be a snack.
Yeah, she's small. We could eat her. And then they just poop on them until they leave. The people in this book really just kind of go through it. Like, they go through it in the movie, but they really go through it in the book. Mm-hmm. It is just like a nonstop roller coaster. But I also like in the book, though, that they actually have stuff you would see, like, on a safari or in a zoo. Like, there's sheds and, like, things hidden in rocks for, like, the electricity and all the power.
That was one thing that I appreciated. There was more stuff about how they got around. Because I've always been fascinated by how, like, in zoos, like our zoo, the Henry Doorly Zoo, like if you go to the Lead Jungle, I always thought it was so cool that you could like see doors in rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
So that reminded me of that.
And like all the back roads that go through the areas to get to, like in the book, they have underground tunnels because obviously certain enclosures you can't drive through.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to take my Jeep through the Rex exhibit. Like, our insurance doesn't cover that. So, we have a tunnel underground, or like how the waterfalls are, controlled by the electricity of the place. And, they have like, and then like in the, one of the herbivore exhibits, I can't remember if it was for the apatosauruses or whatever it was, but they just had a storage shed just there. Like the dinosaurs could come up to it, but they knew they wouldn't destroy it. So they had like all the food in there, and like that's where they have the tunnel that leads to the boats. And
is that where they found the baby Triceratops?
Yes.
Okay.
Which
I thought that thing was dead. when they started talking about the baby Triceratops, I was like, well, that baby's gonna die.
Yeah.
I was shocked that it lived.
And it's funny because again, that new Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World movie, what do they find? The baby dinosaur, and they take it with them. Though they didn't really do that here.
The one in the movie is much smaller than a Triceratops.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what Sarah is in with Littlefoot.
I think she's a Triceratops too. This was like a little cat-sized thing.
Yeah. Was it maybe like a baby Styracosaurus or something like that? Because it was a 3-horned little thing. But I'm like, that's going to grow up to be like 30 feet long. Good luck.
I forget what kind of dinosaur it was. It wasn't one that I'd heard of before.
Yeah. They're like, let's just find one that nobody knows. Just close your eyes and point at the dinosaur map.
Yeah, that's... I mean, there are a lot of dinosaurs that nobody knows. So you really could do that. You could
do that, yeah. Well, and then the book also has like baby raptors that they deal with, which is one of the most tragic scenes in the book.
Did the book describe the raptors correctly? Because I know for the movie they sized them up considerably.
I'm pretty sure they're sized up in the book too. They're not normal. They're
not actual velociraptors.
I don't think so.
Which they're genetically engineered mutants, so that's fine.
Because I'm not saying that a normal-sized velociraptor wouldn't be able to do the chaos that they do, but they got these raptors chewing through metal bars. Like, I don't think a normal raptor, which is like 3 feet tall.
They're very small. They're if
like
you've ever seen Disney's
long.
Dinosaur, those are velociraptors. They're little things.
Yeah, and so I think they're more of a kind of a mutated thing. Like, I know in the movie they don't call them Utah Raptors, but at that time,
they're basically Utah Raptors.
Yeah, so I think that they're kind of the same because those little things, yeah, they're still gonna kill people, but it sounded like in the book they were like almost the size of Alan.
Yeah.
You know, they were bigger because I'm not saying you could drop kick it. I mean, it'd be like getting attacked by like a puma or something.
Yeah.
But I don't see them chewing through metal bars and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that they did that I don't think is scientifically accurate, at least I hope not. It doesn't matter, but the T-Rex is described in multiple scenes as licking, and it seems towards the end, well, maybe halfway through, where it's the waterfall scene where the kids are in the waterfall and the T-Rex is like licking them. Like they reused that for the Lost World, the movie. But it's different because it almost seems like the tongue is prehensile.
I think when Crichton wrote this book, I think he took a lot of lizard aspects because like I think at one point it's got they describe it as a forked tongue. So I don't know if they meant like it was like a snake, you know how snakes lick the air to smell.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Because it's described as a forked tongue, which even as I
missed the forked.
Yeah, even as a little kid, I'm like, I don't know if that'd be quite right. Lizards don't have forked tongues, snakes do. So
that makes slightly more sense why, because I could not imagine a tongue from a T-Rex being prehensile. But if he was thinking more of a snake tongue, even then it's not really prehensile, but I could see that more than a regular tongue.
Well, and if you look at a lot of like really, 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 really old dinosaur art, like before they started to realize they weren't lizards, a lot of the way the bodies are and like the mouth and tongues are like very lizard and like snake-like.
Okay.
So that'd be my guess is he was just basing it off a snake. Which...
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Still not accurate, but it makes more sense.
I mean, yeah, the T-Rex would have a big tongue because it's got a big head. Mm-hmm. But is it going to be able to wrap around somebody's face?
No, yeah. Even as it was being described to me, I could not picture what this was supposed to look like. Because I was seeing the scene from The Lost World where the dinosaur has a giant, thick, fleshy tongue licking.
He's just like, who's in here? Well, and also, like, any creature that has a tongue that's too big for its mouth, it's going to hang out the side. Like, look at some breeds of dogs have giant tongues, or horses, and that T-Rex is going to walk around with his tongue hanging out. Oh, that's so scary.
The whole tongue thing just didn't make sense to me because, like, I guess they would have had tongues, but I can't imagine it could be the type of tongue that could lick because, like...
I picture it like a gator. Like, gators have tongues, but they don't stick them out. They're in there.
Yeah. Because, like, if it did, it could so easily bite its tongue. Like, its teeth are so sharp.
Yeah, it's going to chomp that off.
Yeah.
So, because, like a lot of predators now, they don't have, like, their front teeth aren't like the rest of their teeth for chewing. Like, the Rex had those teeth all the way around. So, it's not like he could stick his tongue out and not hurt himself. Mm-hmm. So, I think it was more of a kind of, or even like dragons, like even early dragon art, they all had forked tongues and they all had their tongues sticking out. So, I think he was kind of taking some inspiration from like just that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And also, they're mutants. They're not.
Yes. Yeah.
They're defects. They have, because like in the book, their colors are not the same. Like the raptors, I think in the book are like orange with black stripes, and the Rex, I think, is like red with stripes. Like they all have very different colors. They're not.
I kind of wish that they had kept doing that for the movies because that would be really cool.
Well, like the early toys are all very brightly
I was going to say
covered.
the toys. I remember the toys, even though I didn't have any. I remember the toys were so much more colorful.
Because I have the big Rex toy from the first movie that's red, and she has black stripes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's more of a. I mean, I suppose you could say camouflage, but unless all the plants were red or whatever, it's not really going to work the same.
It depends on what they're camouflaging from.
Yeah. I mean,
because like if you've read about tigers, the reason that they're orange is because the animals they're hunting they can only see specific colors.
True.
And the orange looks the same as the plants. They blend right in.
They could be more colorblind. Mm-hmm. But yeah, in the book though, they are definitely more brightly colored than in the movie where they're more kind of subdued. Mm-hmm. But I do wish they would have had more color. Like the Triceratops, I wish they would have had their crests be colored, for like mating purposes, like, just a lot of different color for certain things, like birds.
I I don't expect you to watch it, but the animated series, I haven't even watched the whole thing. But
I didn't even know there was an animated series.
It's a Netflix thing.
Oh, I don't have Netflix.
It's about a bunch of kids who get lost on the island.
Just eat them all.
There's a scene where they find a herd of underground Parasaurolophuses.
Why are they underground?
Because they're bred to live in caves and they're bioluminescent, so they glow.
Oh, okay. So their horns glow.
It's ridiculous, but I'm like, this is so cool. I want one.
Well, yeah, it's like, that's my favorite dinosaur. It's like, okay, this is incredibly inaccurate, but does it glows in the dark? I'll take two.
Yes.
Like, okay. I'll live in a cave. Let's go, buddy. But yeah, once like Grant and the kids get separated, he goes and he finds them. And they just go on a nice little adventure through Jurassic Park land, and they just like run into everything you could possibly think of. Mm-hmm. I like how they see wild velociraptors throughout the book, out in the wild.
Which I was not expecting that either.
Yeah, and you compare like the wild velociraptors to the ones that are in the cage, and it's like a completely different. Because you'd think, oh, they're loose, they're going to come find them and kill them.
I kept expecting that.
But they don't. And I think that's kind of goes to say, like, the difference between the ones being bred and kept in a cage and the ones that are wild and more probably grew up away from people and away from the ones they had there that were obviously defective. Mm-hmm. And these are
the ones
wild.
That have gone insane.
Yeah, they've gone nuts. And these wild ones are just out there doing their thing. Because they don't, like, I kept expecting, like, is there going to be another raptor scene here? Because, until that time, we'd only seen them in the cage because they hadn't gotten out yet. Mm-hmm. And they're loose, and it's like, nope. The biggest, issue out there is that those damn Rexes, which have a lot more screen time in
they do.
The book. Like the whole river scene.
The raft, yeah.
Which I really, really liked, but a part of me was also like, how big is this? And how the Rex, couldn't get through the branches to get them. Like, I understood, like, it's the whole horror aspect of it. Mm-hmm. But when I thought about it real hard, I'm like, I'm trying to picture how it actually was in my head. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so at times there's like they're on the raft and it seems like the shore was like just a few feet away. So I'm like, is this like a river or is this like a creek? Or does it just keep moving in size?
I suppose moving in size, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great scene, though. Them just on the boat, just, like, baking in the sun, miserable. Mm-hmm. And they just kind of have to, like... And every now and then that damn T-Rex head pops out through the branches and tries to get them. Like, she was determined. She's like, I hate you. Because I'm like, she can't be hungry because she's...
Yeah, that was the thing that didn't really make sense to me because she had just eaten...
Yeah, so I think, again, that was just a defect in their creation that
they saw a little thing and they wanted to kill it.
Well, and maybe, who knows how, like, the dinosaur handlers and stuff treated them. Maybe she sees humans and was just like, I don't like how they treat me and I've been wanting to eat these people. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not wearing the uniforms, but I'm going to...
Same size and shape.
Yeah, same size and shape. That little one screams a lot. It's annoying. Like, I'm just going to chase these guys down the damn river and get them. And then they see, like, the Dilophosaurus is on the bank doing, like, a little mating dance. Because they're like, what are they doing? And Grant's like, I think they're just, like, they're bowing to each other and, kind of doing certain movements. And then at one point, they stop the T-Rex because she pops out to get him. And there are those Dilophosauruses just trying to have a little fun.
I think some of these scenes, people read them to and were inspired to make scenes in the most recent Jurassic World movie, because there's a scene with a raft in the most recent one, which plays out similar, but it's not quite the same. The T-Rex is like underneath them at one point. So it's not the same, but it's similar enough that I think they were inspired.
Yeah, because in the book, she does swim after them like a crocodile. She gets in the water and uses her tail and does swim after them, but...
The way it resolves, though, is completely different.
Yeah, I watched the clip from the new movie, and I'm like, nobody died? Dang.
I wanted the boyfriend to die. I hated that guy. It's like, I thought they were setting him up to since he didn't die right away, because like the way he was acting at the beginning, I was like, this guy's dino food for sure. So then I was thinking they were setting him up to reform and die a noble death. And then he didn't die by the end. I was like, well then, what was the point?
It's like the kill count for this movie is incredibly low, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, it was... like with a bunch of the Jurassic World movies, I liked a bunch of scenes in the movie, but as a whole, I have criticisms.
Oh, and then another change is in the book, they don't have bullets, but they have rocket launchers.
Yeah, there was one part where Muldoon, like, blows up a velociraptor.
Yeah, he f***ing blows that up. I was just like, did he just blow that dinosaur up? He did. They ain't got guns, but they got rocket launchers. Because Nedry steals the Jeep that has one of them in it. Uh-huh. And so they have to find that Jeep, and that's when they find Nedry, who... yeah, he goes through a really terrible death. Mm-hmm. That
scene when he blows one up, the way they wrote that, I was thinking he was the only one who survived that encounter. But then I don't think he was. And then they find people alive later, and like, how did anyone survive this? Because, like... was it Gennaro that he like was in a tunnel and Grant finds him?
Yeah.
I was like, I thought he died a long time ago.
Yeah, no. Well, and then Regis gets eaten by the young Rex.
Oh yeah, he got eaten a while ago. The T-Rex took him out.
Well, and it's such an interesting scene because it plays with him like a cat.
It was weird.
And then
I was like, if this was real life, this is the horror movie.
Yeah, because it's like, it's a scene where it's written where at first you think it's kind of funny because it's like pushing him around and getting close to him and he's yelling at it. Mm-hmm. And then he's screaming and it eats him. And you're like, oh my God, that's just, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which if you have ever seen a cat playing with a mouse, it's kind of like that.
Yep. Because it's a young Rex, and he's like, I haven't had a lot of chance to hunt, so... Mm-hmm. Can I eat this? Oh, I can. Hooray.
It's making noises. It's a toy.
Yeah. Oh, it's screaming, and it tastes good. And I like the whole subplot throughout the book of them trying to identify the little compy. Like, there's a whole thing of them shipping it over and having to, like, get the remains and proving to Wu and them that, hey... look what we have. Like, and Alan, you know, throughout the book, he doesn't let that go. He's like, hey, we still have to deal with this.
Yeah, that whole scene, and then the subplot with the dinosaurs like boarding the ship, and then they've got to warn people that they know how the dinosaurs are getting off. I was like, I feel like this could have been a mini series. There's so much going on in this book.
Yeah, there is a lot. Like the whole like, oh, you know, because they spot the raptor on the boat. And they're like, oh, we have to tell them before they're out of radio, you know, rave, or it's going to get back to the mainland. And a part of me was like, okay, so there's two of them. And I understand your worry, but the mainland has guns. I'm like, yeah, those two raptors probably could kill everybody on that boat. But it's not like, assuming that they are both female and not, you know, the breeding raptors, like we've had like a male and a female. I mean, you just, hey, what's that? It's not going to be, you know, just shoot it. I understand in the book, like, they're, like, worried about it. But a part of me reading it, I was like, well, I mean, just shoot it when it gets back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure the LAPD could take that out pretty quick. You know, it's just like, I mean, I assume it would kill it. They don't really, I mean, yeah, it'd be like shooting an elephant or a bear. Take a lot to take it down. But yeah, I think you could do it. Or hit it with a car.
I mean, it's probably half the size of a cow, the way they've described them. I think it wouldn't go down as hard as an elephant.
Yeah. I think it would be more shocked because it would never have gone through that before. You know, it'd be like, ow, what the hell? And yeah, and once Malcolm gets hurt, I mean, pretty much every scene with him thereafter is him just in the bed, hopped up on morphine. Like, he's not really just doing too much else to help them. And, like, Hammond is just, like, in his suite because everybody's kind of turning on him saying, you know, hey, you were wrong about this and we screwed up, and he doesn't want to hear it. So he's not really, it's not like he jumps in like in the book or in the movie where he's got the walkie and he's trying to help walk people through and he's trying to find the kids. He's more like, oh, you're turning on me, and
brooding and grouching and griping to himself.
Yeah, you know, he's in his room just kind of trying to blame everybody else for everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're not very nice, man.
No, by the end, I didn't care that he died.
I just thought it was very ironic.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole scene where he's helping Ellie plays out completely different because he's not helping her and she's not even the one who goes. It's Grant who ends up going to try and restore the power.
That whole scene in the book when they go to that shed to restore the power had me screaming. I was so mad. Let's prop the door open because it's dark. Like, what is wrong with you? 1, why don't you have a flashlight? 2, why are you And then the next guy, so he goes in and he dies. Arnold goes in, dies. So then it was Gennaro, wasn't he the next one?
That's where he finds him, yeah.
Yeah, so Gennaro goes into the shed next to restore the power. What's he do? Props the door open. Goes in, gets attacked by raptors, but he doesn't die. But you think he's dead.
Yeah, that's where I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And then Grant goes and finds him
And then
later.
Grant goes, and I'm like, Mother, if you prop the door open because it's dark, stop propping the door open. And that's where they find the raptor with the leg blown off from Muldoon's rocket launcher. And it's just, that whole scene, I was just so mad at everybody. I am like, does not a person on this island own a flashlight?
You would think that that would be the first thing to do.
Well, and like, when Arnold goes in there, like, you'd think he designed all this. He's probably the one who does all this. Like, you'd think when you walked in the door off to your right or left, there'd be, like, flashlights in case the power goes out. Because why else are you going in there to reset everything? You just grab a flashlight. Don't prop the door open when there's velociraptors out.
Probably just yet another thing that they did not think through well enough when they were creating this already not through well enough park.
Yeah. Well, and I think also that whole thing is kind of like when you watch horror movies and people do dumb stuff so they die. I think it's just, if they... Yeah, the raptors, they prove they can open doors. But the raptor probably wouldn't have thought to open the door if it wasn't left open.
It made a lot more sense the way they did it in the movie by having them discover the raptors have learned how to open doors.
Yes. Instead of, I'm a dumbass and I prop the door open. Like, it's just like a never-ending, like, chain of food. Oh, the next one's here. He left the door open, too.
Another scene in that area of the story that was the same but different was the raptors in the kitchen scene. It played out way differently. It was very tense, but in a different way. And there's only one raptor, and Tim is the one who does most of the saving by trapping the raptor in the freezer, which that happens in the movie too, but it happens in a completely different way.
Yeah, and then he's screaming at Lex to, like, get the key and put the key in, and she's like, what? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god. Tim, just throw your sister in the freezer with it.
Yeah, there were so many times where she was just like, ugh.
Oh, yeah, here's the baby T-Rex. The baby Triceratops. She calls it Ralph. It goes back with its parents.
I did like the name Ralph.
Ralph.
I like when people give weirdly specific human names to animals.
It's like, oh, a baby dinosaur. His name is Ralph. And then here comes Mama, and she takes him back. I would have been like, I'm going to follow these Triceratops, because if there's any dinosaur here I feel safe with,
Yeah.
it's going to be them. Yeah, the whole raptor scene, yeah, it's very different, but... Because in the movie, they already are eating, because they have all that food out. And I think in the book, they go into the kitchen to cook.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when the raptors find them in there. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, open a fridge and throw it a steak, and...
I think they did something like that.
I think they tried, yeah. Yeah, and in the book, like, the lodges and stuff aren't quite done. And they say at the beginning, they're looking at these lodges and they're like, wow, these are gorgeous. But then, like, Alan and Ellie note immediately, there's bars on the windows. Like, why are there bars on the windows? And then you find out later they're electrical, or they can be, made to electrocute things. Which, like, if your park has to have... bars that can electrocute things on the windows. Maybe take the hint.
A completely different dinosaur and situation, but I'm remembering the main phrase of the dinosaur in Meet the Robinsons. After he says, I've got a big head and tiny arms, he says, I don't know how well this plan was thought through.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because like in the book, it is very much about money. It is all about the money and the hubris of what I've done.
Yes. They also have a similar computer scene after the kitchen scene, but it is Tim that is fixing the computers, and Lex, who is being extremely annoying.
I'm hungry. I want to do this. I want to do that. Can we play baseball? No.
That was another scene where you could just tell that Michael Crichton had some kind of an interest in technical details.
Oh, yeah.
It took forever for that scene to happen.
Yeah. Well, it's just like with all of Ian's ramblings, like he gets those technical details down.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Well, and then, you know, we were talking about the dinosaur scene, you know, when they're in the river, the boat, and then they're in the waterfall. And, you know, it grabs him by the head with his tongue and starts to drag it out to eat him. And, you know, Lex is dragging him back. But I'm like, I understand that tongue is supposed to be like a big, hard muscle. But it's super slippery. You can't slip your head out. Like, he just, like, goes with it because he can't breathe. It's so annoying.
That's true, yeah.
And then they trank the Rex. And it surprised me when I was rereading this that it drowns. It dies.
It did?
It did, because by the end of the book, when they do their
missed that.
dinosaur count, there's only one left. One T-Rex.
Oh.
Because they say to Alan, is it going to drown? And he's like, no, I'm sure it'll probably float or something. And it dies.
Okay, that went over my head.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, because they see it floating in the water. Because before that, Muldoon hit it and it took off. And they're like, oh, it must not have been a big enough dose. Well, obviously, it's not going to go down right away. Even elephants don't go down right away when you shoot a tranquilizer dart at them. You got to chase them for a little bit. And so then she goes down and they see her floating like in the lagoon. And then when at the end of the book, when they do their total count to see what's left after the chaos, it says one Tyrannosaurus.
I wonder if that was something that was not, like, was it another chart? Maybe that wasn't specified in the audio version.
I think it was on the chart. I don't think they ever said it because I just was like, oh, is the dinosaur going to drown? And they're like, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, so here's the chart at the end. Expected T-Rex found 2, found 1. So it's just kind of like a, you know, because obviously these guys don't care about the dinosaurs. They're not going to be like, oh no, that thing that tried to eat us over and over and over again died.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I don't think I would have been sad either.
No, she wasn't very nice. But it is pretty chaotic in the book. Like once the predators are out.
Yeah.
How quickly, like everything just kind of.
It's nearly nonstop chaos.
Yeah. Just like death everywhere.
If it's not chaotic for one group, you go to the next group where it is chaotic and then back and forth.
Yep.
And if it's not chaotic, there's long passages describing technical details
yes.
of trying to restart the computers.
Well, and the scene that always got me was when the raptors get out and they're slaughtering everybody. Like they're at the visitor center. And they're just killing everybody. And Ellie, you know, goes out to distract them, and they're smart enough to figure out she's the distraction. And when they figure out, when pretty much like once the humans figure out that the raptors figured that out, the raptors then figure it out. So they get Ellie back, and that's when Henry Wu gets killed. But the thing that kills me is they're all in the room with Ian in his hospital bed as the raptors are above them, chewing through the bars, drooling all over. And they're just he's just laying there in his bed watching him. And I'm like, you could, I don't know, move him. I know you don't want to because you're afraid he's about to die because of his leg and his infection. But also, like,
I mean, he will die
get
if
him,
there's
maybe just like
velociraptors
wheel
come in
him
and eat
out of the room, put him in a wheelchair. Why are we laying there watching the dinosaurs chew through the bars?
I wonder how much he cared with all the morphine he was
I
on.
think he was pretty high at that point. He was still talking about chaos theory and how he was right. But it was just such a weird scene to, like, you know, they're like with him and they're all looking up. And I'm like, there are other rooms. There are other rooms. You can move him.
Uh-huh.
But then, you know, that would, well, I'd say he wouldn't have the PTSD he does in the next book, but we'll talk about that when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, reading this book late at night in the dark, the raptor scenes are very efficient. Like, I legit was starting to get anxiety because I'm like, I know none of this is real, and I've read this book so many times, but I'm like, this is written so well, just how the raptors are, here it is. The Velociraptor was 6 feet tall and powerfully built and had strong legs. There you go. So they are not 3-foot raptors. They are 6-foot raptors. But, you know, and like the whole scene when they have the baby raptor and Alan throws it to the adults hoping that they'll take it in like motherly instincts, and they eat it.
Yeah.
I was just like clutching my chest like, oh God, that poor baby. And that's when you're like, okay, so yeah, these are nuts. Like any other raptor like out in the wild would have been like, well, is this our baby or is this not our baby? And these guys were like, oh, a snack.
Yeah.
And then like the whole scene in the
incubation room.
That
one, that was, I don't want to say it was like a favorite scene, but like that one was one where I was like, I'm so invested. This is such a good scene.
Yeah, it's, you know, with all this, there's like a fog, and
this is like, I wish this had made the movie.
Yeah, it's like, this is a horror scene, and he's trying to like, and then he's poisoning them, and they're convulsing on the ground and vomiting, and then they would like turn on each other, and then he'd inject the next egg and throw it to the next person, and the next raptor, you know, and then you've got like the little other like baby raptor, the one they have caged that they caught in the wild, because the one he tosses to him is the baby they meet at the beginning that they play with. You know, it like sits on him and they pet it, and they go into the nursery and it's in there alone because it hasn't been fed, and you just feel so bad for it. And he chucks it to them, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna eat you. You're just like, oh damn.
Yeah,
that's right, I forgot this is a horror movie or a horror book. Yeah, the scene in the incubation room is such a good scene. It's like, I can see how it wouldn't have worked for the movie, but I think they kind of replaced that with the scene with the computers.
Yeah.
And there's no way they would have had him throw a baby dinosaur to be eaten, because that would have made him a villain to a lot of people.
Yeah, that whole scene was one of the ones where I was like, I feel like this needs to be a miniseries. I want them to do Jurassic Park again, but like do a full miniseries.
An R-rated miniseries. Let's go full bore.
HBO Max. I'm sure there would be scenes where I would be like half closing my eyes, like, I don't want to see this. But like for the most part.
Well, like Nedry, you know, he gets spit on.
That's true.
He gets gutted. His head gets chopped.
Have that happen behind a bush, and then I don't have to see it.
You know, it's just like in the movie, it's just like the Dilophosaurus pops in the Jeep with him, hey, and then it shakes and you hear screaming. Not in the book.
No, they describe it in full detail.
Full detail. That is a very violent death. Like I said, I think it's probably one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
And Henry Wu's isn't that great either. Like he gets...
No, it was pretty bad.
He gets like his guts everywhere. Even Hammond's. Hammond's is horrifying, because they make it so the compies, when they bite you, inject you with like a numbing kind of like morphine kind of thing. So you're fine with what's happening, so that you're like alive as they eat you.
But it's not as horrifying for you, the person being eaten.
But the person reading the book is like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, and I just think it's funny that all this happens because the kids are playing in the computer room and they make the T-Rex roar. It reminds me of Henry Dorley, how they would have the tiger or lion roar over the overhead every now and then. They used to do that, like when you were standing in line.
I forgot about that.
They would play jungle sounds and have like a roar. So that's what it reminded me of. But, you know, and then he hears that T-Rex roar and thinks it's the actual T-Rex, falls down the hill, I guess.
That was such a weird scene. Like, they almost directly make the grandchildren responsible for this.
Yeah, they basically do. And he's cursing them the whole time. Like, those damn kids are in there playing on the computer. And then he keeps falling, kind of like this scene in The Lost World where the guy teases the compies. And
I was thinking of that scene when I was rewatching The Lost World.
Yep, to go take a piss, and they come to get him. Even though in the book they make it very clear that compies, you have to be hurt. Like, they're not going to go after you if you're not hurt. And so Hammond, he rolls his ankle and he's bleeding. And he's hobbling along, and that's when they go after him. Because, they come across him plenty of times, and they just run off. Because they're just little scavengers. Like, they're not going to try to take down anybody who's fully, fine. Because they're not even scared of him in the book when they find them all over Nedry's dead body.
Oh, that's
they all
right.
just scatter when Muldoon and them approach it.
I forgot about that detail.
Yeah, they just scatter like rats. They're like, whatever, just clear them out of the way. But, once Hammond's down, and it's like when the author wrote that scene, it was like he was purposely like, all right, we're going to focus on this and we're going to make it bad.
Yeah.
And satisfactory. Bye-bye, Hammond. I'd feel bad for him if he actually gave a shit about his grandkids, but he didn't.
Yeah.
I think he cared more about having to explain to his... Do they say if it's his son or daughter?
I don't remember.
Whoever. That, oh, by the way, sorry, I got your kids killed. My bad.
There was a few scenes, but like the one that I'm specifically remembering is towards the end where Hammond and Malcolm are discussing like an end of the world scenario where Hammond says something about he's glad the Compies didn't make it to the mainland because they might have destroyed the world, and Malcolm is mad about the fact that he thinks he has that kind of power because the Earth will be fine. That whole scene read to me like a climate change denier trying to justify their position. And, like, he's not wrong, because the Earth as a planet will be fine.
Eventually.
But humanity won't.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like a very pedantic argument against Hammond, like making Hammond a straw man in this situation.
Well, and I think Ian's whole, like, stance with his chaos theory stuff is... what will happen, and the world will keep spinning, and we won't be here, but it's going to happen anyway. But Compies also ain't going to destroy the world in a little dinosaur. You just shoot it.
But if there was raptors escaping, that would be a little bit more
6-foot raptors, yeah,
difficult to deal with. I don't know. I felt like I had read something about, like, not that Crichton himself was denying climate change, but he kind of leaned in that direction. Like, he was probably more the Malcolm, like, the Earth's going to be fine. It doesn't matter. Right.
Well, and this was in the, he wrote this book came out in 1990, so he wrote it in the 80s, which would have been at the height of the whole hole in the ozone layer over the Antarctica and all that stuff, which, healed itself, quote, healed itself after people stopped using so much damn hairspray and other stuff. So it's like, I can see, like, back then, before things were kind of changing a whole lot, that it'd be like, well, clearly if you just stop what you're doing, it'll be fine, or whatever. And I think it's also just Ian just kind of trying to just piss Hammond off.
That also makes sense.
And then the whole ending scene when they're on the beach and they're like, the velociraptors want to migrate, and I'm like,
the whole last section of the book was so bizarre to me. The whole, like, they've got to go and, like, get a count of the raptors so that they can destroy them, and they can't let the military do them because they got to do it themselves. And I was like,
and then that doesn't even happen.
Why?
And then the military does it anyway. Like, the whole scene was pointless. I think it was just to prove that these animals in the wild, when they're on their own, are not the animals. Because I'm like, why are we going into the raptor nest when you were just almost eaten?
Exactly.
Like, they don't know that these wild raptors are completely different animals than the ones that they had caged.
The whole scene where they're in there and they're not getting attacked, I was like, what is happening? I don't understand this at all.
The hell is... what the frick is going on? Like, and again, I'm like, is this because they're not captive and they're just wild animals? And Grant's whole thing is, well, they don't have young in the nest. Like, there's no eggs hatching. Like, they just have young. But still, go approach Mama Bear with her cubs. Mama Bear gonna kill you. You try and tell me these raptors? I mean, granted, if they're wild raptors, they don't know what man is, because they may not have dealt with them if they're wild. Kind of like when people are in Antarctica and penguins just walk up to them because they don't know what a human is. But still, I'm like, what? Why are we here?
Nothing about that scene made sense.
Because,
the Gennaro's reaction to that whole scene, I was like, that would be me, and they're framing him like he's the cowardly idiot.
Yeah, they're trying to make him like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Gennaro's been here the whole time. And he's not wrong. Because why do we have to know how many velociraptors there are? Why do we have to have a count? They firebomb the island. They nuke it, basically. They ain't nothing left. And they want to migrate. Well, they can try, but they're not going to be able to swim. I mean, yeah, some of them do, like the Compies, but I think they didn't. I think they all got off the island on boats.
I didn't read it as they swam away. I was reading they were stowing away on boats.
Yeah, like rats.
Yeah.
Like when, well... like rats. That's how a lot of rodents and pests got from country to countries. They stowed away on boats.
Yeah.
You know, and even like the bigger dinosaurs they find probably were younger and stowed away and just found a jungle and lived in it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the whole ending scene when and then they're all like gung ho, like we're gonna go down into the caves, no problem. Let's just jump into this hole. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you hit your head? Did the last part of the book where you were fighting velociraptors and watching people get gutted, did that just...
Yeah.
Did you forget?
Yeah. Nothing about this scene made sense to me.
No. So it's like that should have just ended like, oh, when Grant says, no, they want to migrate, and then they're leaving the island and gets firebombed. I mean, granted, reading about the wild velociraptors and how calm they are and how good of parents they are, they're not killing each other, they're taking care of the young, did make me feel really, really bad when they firebombed the island. Like, I felt sad. Mm-hmm. Which I felt sad anyway for the rest of the dinosaurs. But I'm just like, is this why? It's because if they would have firebombed the island before this scene, nobody would have cared about the dinosaurs because it's like they've been so horrible until now. Now we feel bad for them because the wild ones that haven't had man encroaching on their lives are actually calm, peaceful, normal animals. Is it saying something on how when humans meddle with stuff, they make it worse, but when things are left alone, they're better?
Probably.
Yeah, but I still don't like it.
But it still didn't make sense to me.
I still didn't like it. It would have been better off if they would have gone and found, like, herbivores. Been like, oh, the little baby Stegosaurus. It's so cute. Or Ralph. Poor Ralph.
R.I.P. Ralph,
Rip
apparently.
Ralph. Ralph is dead. He got firebombed. Poor little guy. Yeah, so it is a very peculiar way to end the book. Well, I guess that's not the ending.
The whole ending didn't make sense. While this is happening, this is like happening simultaneously with Hammond getting eaten. Mm-hmm. But then the military shows up, and then they're like captured.
Yeah.
Like what? I was so confused. They're taken away to Costa Rica, and they're not allowed to leave. I don't know what was happening.
Well, I think the issue is that the fact that Hammond had lied about everything. Like his investors, I think, knew what he was doing, but I think when he bought that island and was, passing all customs and like, because you bought it doesn't mean you can put dinosaurs on it without telling the local government. And I think it's just the fact that he lied to everyone, and so they show up and like, there's blood and guts all over the place. People are killed. Other people are like, they fly in, there's a dinosaur, and it's like, yo, what? I thought you were going to build a zoo or I guess it was supposed to be like Disney World. It was going to have rides and it was going to have the animals. Like in the book, it was going to have rides and everything. And they're like, we were expecting like an amusement park. What is going on? Like you created these. And then there's the whole kind of also the hidden subplot of disease. Like, these animals, do they carry disease that can spread to humans? Like, is it going to cause a new plague? I think that was, like, the biggest issue was... Because, like, when the guy gets killed at the beginning, like, his wounds in his mouth are foaming. Kind of like rabies. But... Yeah. So I think that was, like, also a big thing of, like, well, what diseases do these things carry? What could they spread? And I honestly, at one point, I think I thought the book was going to go in that direction. Or maybe it's the second book. Where they were going to talk about disease. And like plagues and stuff. So I think that was the big deal was Hammond had lied and there's dinosaurs. People are dead. Local people too, like local workers, like, because they were hiring people off the mainland and then they were lying about how they were getting killed.
Yeah.
So, they've got their own citizens getting killed and it getting covered up. Like they're just like, what the, what is going on? Like none of this was approved. We didn't know about any of this. We don't know what kind of, experimentation and like illegal things you're doing here. You didn't have a permit for any of this. We thought you were going to build a roller coaster. So that'd be...
it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be my guess why the military shows up.
Well, It's not even that I'm confused about. It's just the fact that they were taken away and they're basically just being held indefinitely. They're not allowed to leave, and that's where the book ends.
Yeah, like they're like, do the kids get to go home? And they're like, well, we're making discussions. Out of all these people, who's going to talk? Lex. Lex is going to talk. Like, yeah, I mean, I kind of got it because they're like, well, now we have to do a massive cover-up and we have to make sure none of these people talk about anything that they saw because they firebombed the island. Yeah, I didn't really quite get why. I mean, I know in like the movie and in the book when you get to it, they do have to sign like non-disclosure agreements to not talk about what happened on the island. And I don't really know why, because it's not like they were doing human experimentation or like... Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think it's just because they're like, we don't know how to explain this, so we're just not going to. So nobody talk about it. We're just going to sweep it under the rug. That island that was real pretty, that's now on fire. We're just not going to go there. Don't even... There's a volcano on it, because they do mention there are volcano areas, because when they go to the raptor's nest, they built nests on, like, the lava, like, in the lava areas, because they talk about it. So maybe they're like, the volcano erupted. That'd be Jurassic World #2. But maybe that's what they said, because this doesn't explain it. The second book don't explain it.
Yeah.
But that'd just be my guess, is they just didn't want people to talk about it. And maybe also, again, maybe they're making sure they didn't have any diseases from being around. Because in the book, it's not just dinosaurs. Like, I know in the movie, it's dinosaurs and plants. Mm-hmm. But in the book, there are giant, like, there's giant leeches. There's, like, 3-foot dragonflies. There's big bugs, which I hate. I'm so glad they didn't put that in the movie. I hate that. The guy gets a giant leech, Regis, before the Rex eats him. He gets a giant leech on his neck. It's disgusting. I hate that so much. I read that part. I'm like, oh, God, no. Yuck. You know, so they brought back giant bugs, too. So it's probably like, well, again, what diseases? Mm-hmm. What plague could you possibly unleash here? Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's a whole bunch of stuff like that, or I'm just looking into it too close. But that's my theory, is they didn't know how to explain it. There's a lot of dead people, and they're worried about disease.
Well, doesn't the one guy at the end say something about there's something about like the crops that are rich in lysine are disappearing, like they're being eaten, so they're thinking the dinosaurs have escaped anyway? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they talk about, here it is. Yeah, it's at the end of the book here. Which is to the north, some unknown animals ate the crops in a very particular manner. They moved each day in a straight line, almost as straight as an arrow, from the coast into the mountains into the jungle. Like a migration, wouldn't you say? The new character who has nothing to do with this says. Grant asks what crops, and he goes, well, it was odd. They would only eat the agama beans and soy and sometimes chickens. Foods rich in lysine, which what happened to these animals, and they entered the jungle. So yeah, so they are off, and they're eating soy and some kind of bean, and then the chickens, who probably also eat.
So is it supposed to be velociraptors?
They don't say, but when they say moved in a straight line like a migration, I would assume raptors, because that's what they said they were doing on the beach. When they said all the raptors were looking out over the ocean and they're standing in a straight line, Grant said they want to migrate, which doesn't make sense. Why does it matter if they're in a straight line? How did you figure that out? They're not, birds don't do that. I don't get it. But I would assume that they said it was probably raptors, because herbivores wouldn't eat the chickens.
Yeah.
And just because it's a carnivore doesn't mean it's not going to eat beans and stuff. A lot of carnivores also eat plants. They just don't, like, or omnivores like bears. But even horses have been known to eat, like, mice. So, like, nothing's really set in stone for stuff. So I would assume it was probably a raptor.
Yeah, probably.
But they don't say. They just say animals. They went into the jungle.
Was that thread picked up in the second book? Because I haven't read it yet. So did they mention anything about escaped dinosaurs in Lost World?
This book is so off the cuff different from this book.
Okay.
Like, I don't think so. Because this book opens with them finding the dinosaur on the beach, right? No. Yes. Yes, they do.
Okay.
But for a whole different reason.
Okay.
I don't think it plays into this very much at all. Yes. Okay. Yes, they do. Because I was thinking of a dead dinosaur on the beach. That's this book. It's the second book. This one, they just are eating people and killing babies.
Yes.
This one is a little bit different. So yes, they do talk about it. But it doesn't have anything to do with this one.
Okay.
It's a whole new ball game.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll find that out when I start the book this week.
Yeah, you can let me know if you're like, what? What is happening? Especially that opening. Oh, I thought I was dead, but I got better. God. Yeah, because I think they hint here at the end of the book that they do think that maybe some of the compies are loose, but they ask if they're biting babies, and they said no. So maybe they finally moved on and found something to actually eat. But they never, it just kind of ends there. So with them saying, well, do Lex and Tim get to go home? Because you know that at this point they're all stuck together, and they're like, please send the children home. My God. Yeah, because it ends with Grant asking, you're telling me we're not going anywhere? And the guy says, none of us are going anywhere, Dr. Grant. And then it just...
Yeah. That was not how I was expecting the book to end.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so
The
what?
Lost World kind of picks up with it kind of mentions a couple of the characters, but it is, when we talk about it, it is so much... I mean, I honestly, reading this second book, I kind of, parts of it I thought, is it the same author? It's very different from the movie, that's for sure. But I support... This is one of the few cases where I am perfectly fine with the movie being so completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I can see these two as completely different.
Yes.
Because if they would have made this book exactly how it is, I can guarantee it would not have been the giant hit that the movie was.
No.
For one, it would have been rated R, and back then rated R movies didn't do like they do now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not reaching $1 billion.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been a horror movie that you let your kids watch it when it's on TV and all the bad parts are edited out. You know, especially if they would have done that opening scene with the worker getting attacked and the baby getting killed. And
oh, yeah, that would never make a family-ish movie.
No. So, yeah, I really... All the changes from the book to the movie, I'm fine with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the character changes, especially with Ellie. Like she got so sidelined.
Yes, Ellie was a much better character in the movie.
You know, and the kids are so much better.
Kids are much better.
They're so much better. Ian is much better.
Yes.
I kind of wonder if the reason he brings him back in the second book is because Jeff Goldblum is just so damn likable.
That would make sense.
I wonder if he watched the movie and was just like, wow, I wish I would have written Ian more like how Jeff Goldblum played him.
Is he like that more in the book?
He is a completely different character in the second book.
Okay.
The Ian Malcolm from this book, from book 1 to book 2, it's like it's not the same person.
But is he more like Jeff Goldblum in the book?
I would say he is more like the movie Jeff Goldblum.
Okay.
He's a little bit more dry, but it's still not quite on target, but he's definitely not the same Jeff Goldblum. He's not the same Ian Malcolm as the first book.
Okay. I mean, that's fine because Ian Malcolm is like my favorite character in Jurassic Park, but I don't think if I had read the book only, I don't think I'd be saying that.
No, you'd be like, who's this going? Shut up. Stop giving him morphine. He's talking too much. But he does still do the chaos theory in the second book, but it's not quite as extreme as it is in the first book. But that'd be my guess, because there have been plenty of authors who their books or movies have, like Game of Thrones, like even George R. R. Martin, watching some of Game of Thrones, said, I really love how these characters were portrayed by these actors. Mm-hmm. I wish that's how I would have wrote them a little bit more. That's just my guess, is because I can't think of any other reason why he'd be like, which character's coming back for book 2? It
makes sense. Because he was a much better character in the movie than the book. Yeah,
because you would think it would be like Alan.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only reason I can think is he just was like, if they make this one a movie too, which I know the movie rights were purchased for Jurassic Park before the book even came out. Like they had already were working on the movie script before the book was published. And it kind of makes me wonder if they kind of had a similar thing going on with the second one, and they were like, well, we want to bring Jeff Goldblum back for the sequel.
Mm.
And we can't because you just killed him. And he was just like, okay, psych.
You know what? That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Because as much as you like Sam Neill, I mean, come on. Who'd they make a Funko of laying there with his shirt open that I currently own? Ian Malcolm. It's like he was everybody's favorite character.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that'd be my guess, is if they're like, hey, you're going to write that. Because this came out in 90. Jurassic Park came out in 90. And The Lost World came out in 95. So, I mean, there's only 5 years between these, that he wrote these two books. Mm-hmm. So, my guess is they were like, I don't know. Because I guess the book came out in 93. Or the movie came out in 93. Mm-hmm. And this came out in 95. He could have written this in 2 years.
Yeah.
It reads like he wrote it in 2 years. That'd be my guess, is they're like, well, if we do a sequel, we want.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to look up that timeline before we record the next episode, because I am curious now.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I can think of, because, like I said, why else wouldn't it have been Alan or somebody? Especially with the direction that this book goes, the second book. To me, it would have made more sense if it would have been Alan, but then I think it would have been too much like the first book, because there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
But either way, I don't care, because Jeff Goldblum is great. I couldn't picture him, though, as Ian Malcolm as I was reading the book. I tried, but I think because they're so kind of different, I pictured somebody very similar, but the face is different. But it was funny, though, reading the book. Like, I think one of my favorite characters ended up being Gennaro.
I mean, by the end, he was the most relatable.
Yeah, I was just like, this guy is, he's got a lot to do, and I actually... I totally get it. Like, he's doing his best. I mean, he even says at points, like, where he's like, I could just leave. I could just not help. I could abandon everything. But he's like, no.
Well, he's also being threatened with, like, a cattle prod thing.
Well, yeah, at the very end. But, I mean, like, when he's helping them and stuff, like, there's times where he's like, I don't have to do this. Mm-hmm. And he's the one who's really mad when the kids show up. He's the one who's like, what have you done? Why are kids here? So it's weird that the character in the movie who is just awful, well, not awful, he's just dumb. He's a lawyer. That's like his whole character. Mm-hmm. He's a blood-sucking lawyer. Yeah. And he dies by T-Rex. And then the book, you're like, huh, okay. Kind of like this guy. He's not too bad.
Yeah, because like at the beginning, they kind of set him up as like he has a wife and kids. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, that kind of sucks that they're going to be killing off this guy who has a whole family back home. And then he didn't end up dying by the end. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
I mean, they still kind of tried, like you said, when he didn't want to go.
I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead.
Well, yeah, when he went into the shed and left the door open. But then, at the end, they try to, like, set him back up as being, like, a coward when he doesn't want to go count the velociraptors on the island. I'm like, no, that's common sense.
Yes,
it's not cowardice.
Exactly. I was so confused why they were writing the characters like this. I would think that they would be smarter than this.
Well, and like I said, like a lot of, like you said too, like the dialogue and stuff, like it is very much written. I think a lot of it's written not how people would actually react.
Yeah.
Like Lex screams a lot, but there's a lot of scenes where I'm like
well, the one scene where she asked an adult, hey, you want to go play squash? Yeah. I was like, what is this child?
Right. Or like when they go up to the Velociraptor pen and the raptors are attacking the fence in front of them. Like, this is the first time seeing the Velociraptors. And the fence is electrified. And they're attacking the fence and they're just standing there watching them. I'm like, nobody jumped. Nobody gasped. Nobody was like, oh my God.
I would have been like, okay, let's leave now. Goodbye.
I've been like, I just shit myself. Like, where's your bathroom? Like, this thing almost went through the fence to kill me. And this was before everything started happening. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, oh, wow. Look at that. What'd you do? And I'm like, this is not the proper reaction a human being would have to having a 6-foot, pissed off, 3 velociraptors rushing an electric fence and getting electrocuted to try to kill you. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. This isn't the right reaction, sir. I know you write a lot of, like, his other stuff, this kind of probably all makes sense, like with sci-fi and stuff, when maybe it's all normal to deal with this stuff. But I'm just like, no, I want a little bit more, like descriptions of like their heart was pounding or they were sweating and Lex is screaming. I get it. Yeah, she's scared. I understand. But you could also describe this in a little different way too. But I'm not going to nitpick a best-selling author who wrote some of the best books ever, so. It's just an observation I made while reading it that I was like, I think the reactions could be a little bit different here. I guess when Grant does see the dinosaurs, because I just found that page in the book, he does laugh because he's just like, but it's funny. You've never watched In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill, have you? No, it's a horror movie. There's a scene at the end when the world's going to and Sam Neill is sitting there laughing hysterically. And when I read this scene of Grant laughing when he sees the dinosaurs, that's all I could picture. Was him laughing like he's witnessing the end of the world.
I mean,
that's just because Sam Neill has he's plays such wacky characters and in such weird horror movies, and I'm so glad I watched him in Jurassic Park as a kid before I saw him in those horror movies, because I would not have been able to look at Sam Neill or Alan Grant the same.
I don't think I've ever seen him behave bizarrely, because like the things that I know him from are Jurassic Park and Merlin.
Right, and I know him from In the Mouth of Madness and I should know the title of it because it haunted me for years.
I think I know what you're talking about. I've never seen it. It's some sci-fi thing.
Yeah, it's awful. I hate it. I mean, granted, it is a classic, which is why I watched it too young and I hate it. Event Horizon.
Yes.
That Event Horizon is probably the next movie I saw with him in it, and
I don't even know what it's about. The way I've heard people talk about it sounds like a movie that I don't want to see.
You don't want to see it. No, you don't. I mean, granted, like I said, I watched it way too young. It was kind of one of those movies that you watched when you were way too young as like a rite of passage, but oh dear God, it was a mistake. But yeah, if I would have seen him in either of those movies before I saw Jurassic Park, the whole time I'd have been like, get away from him. Don't trust him. Yeah, I don't think there's just anything else. I mean, other than just pages and pages and pages of DNA and science and Malcolm and them trying to like figure out the compies, and because that's what got Alan on the island to begin with. Like, he didn't go, like in the movie, they're like, I'll pay you. Okay. Well, in the book, he'd already been sent the compy remains, or not did he get the remains or like a report or like part of the remains?
I think he had an x-ray and then they went to see.
Yeah, so he was already like, some shit's going down and I want to know what it is. So that was like his main motivation in the book, was him trying to hunt down what was going on and what this creature was, because it sure as heck wasn't a lizard. And he knew looking at it that it was a dinosaur, because that's what he did. So, completely different motivation from the movie.
I think he got paid in the book too.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Investigate.
Well, he couldn't be like, oh no, I'll do this out of the goodness of my heart. It's like, well, that's suspicious, because they don't know that he knows that something's up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you can pay me. And the book, I love how the book, though, the whole book is just so much denial. Denial, denial, denial. There's more dinosaurs. No, there's not. We'll do a count. Look, see, they're all right.
That happened a lot.
It did, until finally they're like, well, you're looking for a specific number of dinosaurs. What if you don't put the final number in there? And that's when the numbers start going up and up and up and up and up. And they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Maybe the way we've been doing this the whole time was wrong. And I think that's when everybody's kind of starts to turn on Hambin, and
yeah,
they're like, oh, maybe this was a bad idea.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is probably all we have to say about Jurassic Park, the novel. We will be back next time to talk about The Lost World, the movie. But then we're also going to talk about the book after I read it, or listen to it via audiobook. So, until next time.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to Every Version Ever. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. All of our links will be in the description below. If you'd like more podcasts like this one, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you'd like to support this show, check out Johncast Media on Patreon for everything here, plus bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.